A trip down the toy aisle in 2024 is depressing. Honestly, take a look at Transformers these days and ask yourself, what are these things? I recognize the characters, I recognize the basic appearance, I certainly recognize the names, but these are not the toys I grew up with, and oftentimes they're not exciting. And that's too bad. They're also really expensive. So when you find yourself in despair having walked down that toy aisle and thinking, man, the toys of my youth, they just don't make them like that anymore, well, you're wrong. You're just looking in the wrong place. There are still manufacturers in Asia that are designing really cool, affordable Transformers that feel much like the stuff we grew up with. They're just not Transformers in name. And today I want to focus on another really exciting toy line coming out of South Korea. We're going to look at Miniforce today. Specifically, we're going to look at the Justice Titan from Miniforce Super Cops. Quick explanation on what Miniforce is. Miniforce is a current anime series targeted towards kids. The best way to explain this show that I've never actually watched, but the online summaries themselves are delightfully absurd. It essentially is a slightly more mature version of Paw Patrol. It's these animals that transform into humanoids in order to fight enemies and problems of all kinds, including helping out other animals in trouble, and somehow or other, mechas that combine into larger robots get involved too. I'm going to have to watch the show now. I have to admit I'm a little curious after that. But the weird part is that a show that sounds that ridiculous and juvenile could turn out toys that look like this. This is Justice Titan. Look at this guy, measuring at 15 inches tall. He is freaking enormous. He is made of solid quality plastic. He's got a great transformation, very throwback in some respects, and in fact, I can even make him... I don't know what he's saying, but it's cool. He's blowing things up now. Wow. Size comparison quickly. Here he is against a G1 Metroplex. Someone's feeling a little inadequate about their size right now. Poor Metroplex. Don't take it too personally, buddy. You'll be okay. This is Justice Titan, and he is a beast. I found him on AliExpress for $76. The range seems to be somewhere between $70 and $90 for him. If you go to eBay, he's going to run you about twice that. I'm seeing him go for anywhere from $160 to $200. I'm legitimately not sure if the AliExpress version I purchased is a legitimate version or a knockoff. If it is a knockoff, the pictures look pretty much the same as the original. I certainly have very few complaints about the quality of what I've gotten. Honestly, if I were seeing this toy sold in stores in the US, I would expect it to go for about $250. It's really a quality piece. So I'm going to take you to the work table right now, and we'll take a look at how Justice Titan works. So here is your Miniforce vehicle team. And Miniforce is an unusual choice of names because these vehicles are flipping huge. For size scale comparison, here is a G1 Wheeljack, a standard size heroic Autobot from 1984-1985. And you'll see that even the smallest guy in this combiner group is larger than a standard heroic Autobot. These guys are big. And I mean, wait till you see the giant robot they form together. But essentially, it's important that you know these guys aren't only huge, they're also made of ridiculously high quality plastic. In fact, I'd confidently say these toys are made of a higher quality plastic and, in some cases, higher quality paint detailing than you'd actually see from a company like Hasbro in the United States today. Truly and honestly, these guys look higher quality and better. I would pay more money for these guys, and yet somehow they're cheaper because they're coming from overseas. Really, I only have two complaints about this toy at all. Just two. Number one is a minor thing for me. For some of you, it'll bother you more, as this is not actually an official Transformer, and it's not trying to be an official Transformer. The individual vehicles do not become robots. It's more made in the spirit of the Japanese Sentai series, where they all combine together to form one large robot. But the robot's so cool, I really don't care. I don't need cheesy, crappy, smaller, alternate transforming robot modes, because oftentimes those are half-assed anyway. I don't care about that, you might. Number two, okay, this is my hang-up. I don't think it's anybody else's hang-up. I care a lot about transparent windows. I think they go a long way in making a toy look quality. And when a toy just paints windows on instead, I think that's lazy, and for me, it affects the quality of the toy immensely and how I perceive it. Some of these have transparent windows. This guy right here, that's a transparent window. It looks nice. This one, the big guy, transparent windows, except in that black part of the top on a hinge. It looks nice. This one, I can't tell if they're transparent with nothing behind them or if it's just a color of plastic. I'm not quite sure. This one has transparent windows. They look nice too. The one that doesn't, the one that looks cheap as all hell, is this one right here, where because he's black, that doesn't sound right, but because he's a black toy, they didn't bother to put windows in at all. There's no actual windows. That's just a continuation of the plastic the toy is made of. They just put a little molded frame around it. It's super lazy. Again, I don't know whether I have the licensed version or a cheap knockoff. It's possible the licensed version actually uses real plastic. From the pictures I've seen, it doesn't look like it does. It's a minor thing. It bothers me a little tiny bit. Otherwise, this toy is a win all the way throughout, and I can't wait to show it to you. So let's get started. We can start with... We'll start with the smaller trucks for a second. I'll begin with this gentleman right here. We're going to detach this piece off the top. We'll save that for later. Actually, you know what? Let's do it now. I love this piece, okay? First off, this can become a little flying vehicle, I guess, if you want it to be. But what it becomes even more awesomely is Justice Titan's gun. It's a pretty cool transformation, isn't it? I like that. We'll put that aside for now. This guy... This entire thing is very intuitive, very satisfying transformations. We're just going to do that. And then we're going to open the doors in the back. What a cool little detail. And then we're going to open up that piece right there. This is all going to rotate out. And then there's a piece back here that helps him balance. And we already have a foot. Really simple, really satisfying. I mean, you could even hear the springs sort of tugging back as I was transforming. Everything about this feels super high quality. It was really satisfying to do. I had fun doing that. I don't know if you could hear the fun. I was feeling the fun. So let's do it one more time with this gentleman right here. We're going to open up those back doors. I love that so much. It's such a cool little imaginative idea. We are going to do that. And then, oh, I don't think I was doing that part before. That's cool. I didn't realize it does that. Hey, new things I'm learning. That's a nice little look right there. And then on top of that, because I got to remember how this all works. Oh yeah, we've got that right there. Cool look. Get this piece back there to counterbalance. And we have a second leg. This guy's got a lot going on. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to separate this piece right here, which is actually going to become one of his arms. It's a really cool flipping... How often have you seen a giant weapon that becomes part of the robot? I really like the fact this resists the obvious solution of having each vehicle become a limb with one central vehicle. It seems like it's going that way, and then it throws you some surprises. We're going to move this piece right here. And this is actually going to become his shield. Pretty cool. This part right here is a lot of fun. I'm going to try not to trigger his lights and sounds as we do this. We'll lift that part up right there. Okay, now I want to trigger the sounds. So much fun. Ooh. I love this toy. This toy is so much fun. Even these pieces back here are really satisfying in how they work. Every part of this is just fun. It feels good. He's still going. Every part of this. I have immense love for this toy. I can't say that enough. And this is actually the back of him. So, let's pan up a little bit so you can see what we've got going on here. All right. From there, we'll bring back this giant weapon we saw earlier. Oh, a piece fell out. We're going to save that for later on. And this part's a lot of fun. We're going to pull that out right there. Fold this over. A little bit of folding here. We got a fist happening right there. And we've already got an arm ready to happen. We'll put that, whoops. That's going to slide right onto a hinge right there. A very solid way for it to hold on and not be a risk for detaching unless you want it to. Everything about this toy is very, very solid construction. We'll bring in the helicopter. And the helicopter, we're going to detach its blades first. A lot of toys that use helicopters in combiner modes don't really know what to do with the helicopter blades. This one has really carefully considered that. We're going to take a helicopter blade and we're going to attach it right there. Just give it a place to sort of rest where it won't be in the way. We'll put it on this side too. It's no Shapeshifter League Glory Alliance where the helicopter blades were used as a ornamental distinguishing characteristic of the toy visually. That's a fun one. Link above if you want to check out the Glory Alliance Shapeshifting League. A toy that's not as cool as this one, but I do like what it does with the helicopter blades. But this just sort of hides them away somewhere that looks good. I can't get enough of those electrical abilities. That's very cool. You can't even see it. They're there. They're just totally out of the way right now. And then we're going to bring in the remainder of our helicopter. And this one is going to pull out, much like the other one did. We're going to have to lift up a little tab right there. And then this is going to do that. We'll lift this back. Turn that around. It's going to connect right there. And then we've got fists. And we have another arm, which once again will lock right onto that hinge that's right there. Very easy to do, very satisfying. It all feels good. And we have this giant toy just waiting for its final piece. And I'm always a sucker for these. We just did a video on the G1 God Jinrai toy. Jinrai toy. Link above if you're interested in that one. And that sort of pioneered this idea of one smaller vehicle that comes along and becomes sort of the centerpiece, chest and head. This part right here, we're going to first do that. That's actually a common thing that you see in a lot of these. We're then going to remove this piece right here. And if we... Actually, I'm not going to give it away. It'll be a surprise. Let's put this in and see what happens when I snap it in. Ready? A head pops out. How cool is that? The back part here is actually going to snap into place. There's a little tab there that's going to connect if I do it right. There it is. All locked in. Nothing's dangling. Everything has a clear place. Is locked in. It's all taken care of. And then... here's the fun part. You might remember this piece that fell out of the giant weapon earlier on. That's his hat. Time to go to work, buddy. How cool is that? Let's give him his stuff. He's got a shield right here. And that's going to lock in right over here. There's a little hole for it. We'll give him his gun. I'm not sure a robot this big really needs a gun. But this is... attention to detail. Take a look at this. It actually has, I don't know if you can see from here, two little prongs in there. Bring them closer. There we go. That'll hold the gun in place. There's no unintended movement. You'll see that, oops, we've got two holes for those two prongs. It's going to lock right into place. This gun is not going to move around his hand. It's going to be firm and secure. Everything about this toy shows care and precision. And there he is. Just a gorgeous toy all the way through. An actual, true masterpiece in design. I mean, this thing is just... Someone really cared a lot when they made this thing. Really, really, really said, you know what? Good enough is not enough for this toy. Let's do better. Justice Titan. Gorgeous, gorgeous toy. He's high quality. He's amazingly precisely well engineered. He's anything but mini. It's the Miniforce Justice Titan. And honestly and truly, you're a fool not to track this guy down and own him today. In fact, he's got something to say about this right now. What was that? I am such a sucker for this toy. And for a roughly $80 to $90, he can absolutely be yours. Man, why wouldn't you go for it unless you don't have the shelf space? Forget the crappy stuff Hasbro and Takara Tomy are trying to sell you now. You know, if you like the masterpieces, cool. If you like the third-party stuff, that's awesome as well. But the regular stuff sitting on store shelves, oh my gosh, you could be having a Justice Titan instead for way less money. Take a look at the stuff happening overseas. Open your mind to the possibilities beyond Transformers, and keep checking out this channel so I can tell you more about all the great things out there that you don't need to be missing. So, if you like the video, I hope you'll hit like and subscribe. It helps the channel immensely. We appreciate it if you do. If you've got thoughts about this toy line or any relevant toy line whatsoever, I love to talk and hear from you. Please hit me up in the comments and I just might write you back. And if you're looking for a more meaningful conversation with like-minded nerds and geeks like me, including me, where you can get to know people in a group that's large enough to have lots of conversation going on, but small enough where you get to be known as a person and possibly make lifelong friends, check us out at classiccomics.org. We're about way more than comic books, and we definitely love to talk toys and other geekery as well. We're not Olive Garden, but we are family. classiccomics.org. Check us out. Check out the other videos. We have so many out there. I think we're now at 51 videos. I don't know when I've had the time to make all that stuff. In the meantime, I'll see you next time. Have a great one, and of course, stay weird.